Suspension and steering diagnosis. Diagnosing suspension and steering system issues is essential for ensuring that vehicles operate safely and comfortably. This lesson focuses on how to effectively identify and diagnose common suspension and steering system problems, including misalignment issues and handling concerns. A strong understanding of diagnostic techniques for suspension and steering systems is essential for the ASE certification test and for real-world automotive diagnostics and repair. Diagnosing suspension and steering system issues. Suspension and steering issues can manifest as a variety of symptoms, from vibrations and noise to handling problems and alignment issues. Proper diagnosis is crucial for repairing these systems effectively. Common suspension issues. Suspension noise. Symptoms. Unusual noises, such as clunking, squeaking, or rattling, coming from the suspension system while driving. Possible causes. Worn suspension components, worn-out bushings, ball joints, control arms, or sway bar links can cause suspension noise. Damaged shock absorbers. Shock absorbers that are leaking or worn can cause noise, particularly when going over bumps or rough surfaces. Loose or damaged mounting points. If suspension components are not properly mounted, they may move out of alignment and make noise. Diagnostic procedure. Conduct a visual inspection of the suspension components for signs of wear or damage. Test drive the vehicle to isolate the noise, paying attention to whether it occurs while driving, braking, or turning. Listen carefully for any squeaks, clunks, or rattling noises and identify whether they correlate with suspension movement. Suspension vibration. Symptoms. Vibration felt through the steering wheel, seat, or floorboards, often at higher speeds or while turning. Possible causes. Out-of-balance wheels. Unbalanced wheels or tires can cause vibration, especially at higher speeds. Worn suspension components. Worn suspension bushings, control arms, or sway bars can contribute to vibration. Faulty wheel bearings. Worn wheel bearings can cause vibrations and noise, particularly when turning. Diagnostic procedure. Check wheel balance. Use a balancing machine to check if the wheels are properly balanced. Inspect suspension components. Look for worn or damaged bushings, mounts, or other parts that may cause vibration. Check wheel bearings. Lift the vehicle, check for play in the wheel, and listen for noise while spinning the wheel. Poor handling or reduced ride quality. Symptoms. The vehicle may feel unstable when driving, or it may have excessive body roll or diving during turns or braking. Possible causes. Worn shock absorbers or struts. These components help control the movement of the vehicle, and when they wear out, the vehicle can feel unstable. Worn springs. Coil springs or leaf springs that have lost their tension may result in poor handling and reduced ride quality. Broken or loose suspension components. Any part of the suspension that is loose or broken will affect handling. Diagnostic procedure. Inspect shock absorbers and struts for leaks, damage, or signs of wear. Test for smooth movement by pushing on the corners of the vehicle and observing the rebound. Check the springs for sagging or deformation. Inspect control arms and sway bars for damage or looseness. Common steering system issues. Steering play. Symptoms. Excessive free play in the steering wheel, requiring the driver to turn the wheel significantly before the vehicle begins to respond. Possible causes. Worn steering linkage components. Worn tie rods, steering rack, or pitman arm can cause steering play. Loose steering gear. If the steering gear is not properly tightened or is worn out, it can cause play in the wheel. Damaged steering column. Worn or damaged steering column components can also contribute to play in the steering wheel. Diagnostic procedure. Inspect steering linkage for worn or damaged parts, such as tie rods, pitman arm, and idler arm. Check the steering gear for play by moving the steering wheel and observing the response at the wheels. Test the steering column for any loose components. Steering noise, symptoms. A whining, groaning, or squealing sound while turning the steering wheel. Possible causes. Low or dirty power steering fluid. If the fluid level is low or the fluid is contaminated, the power steering pump may produce noise. Worn power steering pump. A failing power steering pump can cause whining or groaning sounds when turning. Damaged steering components. Worn steering racks, tie rods, or bushings can cause noise during steering. Diagnostic procedure. Check power steering fluid levels and inspect the fluid condition. If it's low or dirty, flush and replace the fluid. Inspect the power steering pump for signs of wear or failure. Check the steering linkage for worn components or loose parts that could create noise. Hard steering. Symptoms. Difficulty turning the steering wheel, particularly at low speeds or when the vehicle is stationary. Possible causes. Low power steering fluid. Low fluid levels can cause the steering to become hard or difficult to turn. Failed power steering pump. If the pump fails, there will be no hydraulic assist to make steering easier. Faulty steering rack or gearbox. A worn-out or faulty steering rack or gearbox can make the steering difficult. Diagnostic procedure. Check fluid levels and ensure the power steering fluid is at the correct level. Inspect the power steering pump for proper operation and signs of failure. Test the steering rack for wear or damage and check for leaks. Diagnosing alignment problems. Alignment problems can cause uneven tire wear, poor handling, and steering issues. Proper diagnosis is critical for restoring the vehicle's handling and extending tire life. Common symptoms of alignment issues. Uneven tire wear. Tires wear unevenly, with one side wearing faster than the other. Vehicle pulling to one side. The vehicle pulls to the left or right, requiring constant steering correction to drive straight. Steering wheel off-center. The steering wheel may be crooked or off-center when driving straight. Steering drift. The vehicle drifts to one side without any input from the driver. Diagnosing alignment issues. Inspect the tires. Check for uneven wear patterns that may indicate misalignment. Common patterns include wear on the inner or outer edges of the tire, or a cupped pattern. Check the steering wheel. If the steering wheel is off-center, it may indicate that the wheels are misaligned, even if the vehicle drives straight. Perform a test drive. Drive the vehicle and observe if it pulls to one side. A vehicle that drifts or pulls may have a misaligned front end or issues with the steering components. Measure the toe, camber, and caster angles. These angles should be checked with specialized alignment equipment to confirm that the wheels are correctly aligned. Conclusion and recap. In this lesson, we covered the process of diagnosing suspension and steering system issues, including noise, vibration, and handling problems. We also discussed how to diagnose common alignment problems, such as uneven tire wear and steering wheel misalignment. Mastering these diagnostic skills is essential for preparing for the ASE certification test A4 and performing effective suspension and steering system